Here we are again back with The Selfish Giant by Oscar Wilde. Let us start with the fifth part of the story. Before I start the fifth part of the story, let me remind you about the fourth part that we had discussed in the last video. There we saw that the giant invited every child to visit his ground, with special mention to the youngest child. But nobody knew him. The giant was kind to every child. Years rolled by. The giant grew old. He watched the children playing with while sitting in an armchair. He said that the children are the most beautiful flowers of all. The giant no longer hated the winters. One winter morning, he was surprised to see the lovely white blossoms. Its branches were golden, bearing silver fruit. There was the little boy sitting underneath. He was very happy and rushed towards him. On seeing his hands and feet, he grew angry. This was what we learned or discussed in the last video. Who hath dared to wound thee? Cried the giant. Tell me, that I may take my big sword and slay him. Nay, answered the child, but these are the wounds of love. See, the giant here wanted to punish the wrongdoer, but the child replied that those were wounds of love. The giant was shocked to hear such an answer from the little child. Who art thou? Said the giant, and a strange awe fell on him, and he knelt before the little child. And the child smiled on the giant and said to him, "You let me play once in your garden. Today you shall come with me to my garden, which is paradise." The giant then asked about the little child, who replied gently that once the giant allowed him to play in his garden. Now the child, that is Jesus Christ in disguise, would take him along to his garden, that is paradise. And when the children ran in that afternoon, they found the giant lying dead under the tree, all covered with white blossoms. In that afternoon, when children came to play, they found the giant lying dead, covered with white blossoms. we come to the end of the story. But let me explain to you the inner meaning of the fifth part. The wounds are distinctive enough that the giant, upon recognizing what they signify, at once kneels reverently before the boy. Sometimes the stigmata do not signify Jesus Christ himself, but merely a holy person. But even so, this is clearly someone to whom the giant should show respect. The story's ending completes the giant's character arc, and the Christian allegory told through him. In the Christian framework that Oscar Wilde sets in place, the reward of heaven is what holds the story's moral center in place. It gives legitimacy to the giant's kind actions beyond what any mere social reward can provide. It is the surest, clearest sign that generosity and love are the right moral path, and that the world operates according to a just cosmic order. Furthermore, that the little child talks of my garden, which is paradise, seems to point to both Eden and heaven, which is further evidence that he is the Christ child. This point is made all the clearer when the giant dies that day under the tree, symbolic of the cross covered in white blossoms, a color that commonly symbolizes purity. What could be the moral of the story? After listening to the story, we can say, if we give happiness to others, we can also feel happiness in our life. That's the lesson we have learned from this story. Here we come to the end of the story The Selfish Giant by Oscar Wilde. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.